We have in the studio with us here again a veteran journalist, Lukman Musa, in the studio to talk about his new book titled Priceless Memories, an autobiography of a broadcast journalist. Good morning. It's good to have you on this side.
Good morning. Good morning.
And belated happy birthday.
Thank you.
He was 60 recently.
Right,
can you imagine? And he doesn't even look 60.
I'm flattered, yeah.
Right, let's look at your book, Priceless Memories. What spurred you to write this?
Well, I've always had this urge to write a book, right from secondary school. I love art and everything art. While I was in school, the book says a lot because I discovered myself as a child, right from nursery school in Ibadan, where I used to participate in the television programs, children's television program on WNTV at that time. But then what spurred me into writing, that was the question, is that urge to write. But I found it really difficult. I've attempted writing a number of times, even while at school. I'll write and I would drop it. And the long and short about it was that it took a very long time for me to realize that I need to put pen to paper, and it's not that easy to write. I think it was my father's friend's birthday, his 80th birthday. He also wrote a book about his life, our late ambassador Lamidi Maliki. He actually involved me in the launching of the book. And so when I read his autobiography, I felt, okay, this urge to write, because I was discouraged after I wrote my thesis, my project book at the NIJ at that time, because it was too difficult for me to put those projects together. So I knew writing wasn't for me. I love to talk a lot, but I don't like writing. But then the urge to write was always there. So after reading the autobiography of Ambassador Maliki, that spurred me back into say, okay, let me go back and
pick
write
up the
something
pen.
else, yeah.
Right. Now, there's so much when you look at the content, antecedents, the beginning, Ibadan, new opportunities and challenges, a star at the Warudin Primary School, Egbadu College experience, done a broadcasting journey that caught my eye. And that is where we are going. ML 200, 2000.
ML 2000, yes. Well, that name, ML 2000, was a coinage. Now, let me just take you back a little bit. While I was... I found myself in Ibadan, just by coincidence. And I lived with an aunt who, at that time while I was in Ibadan, this was in the 60s, and that was, the WNTV started in 1959. Right. And then I was opportune to go to one of the few nursery and primary school in the whole of Western region at the time. And so naturally, the nursery school, Omolewa Nursery and Primary School, became a fertile ground for TV producers to gather children together, including the WNBS, which was the radio arm at that time. So I had that opportunity. I didn't know what they saw in me. I didn't know what they were looking for, but I was always selected to be part of the children's program. So that was how it started. That was how the journey began. And because of that opportunity to see how it's been done, I'd always loved radio, even while growing up in Ilaro as a kid. I recall that there was this radio vision at that time. It was just one box where you just tune in, just the volume. There is no other station. So we had this idea of that, okay, there's some people, it's a large box, by the way. It's a very big box that they hang around the corners of the houses. In some public places, you find them. So I've always had this childhood belief that we have people inside those boxes. So I've always loved, the name, like in box, seeing people in the box. So when the name ML 2000 that you refer to, I'm just trying to fast track right now. So it's that box, that's seeing people in the box, that gave me that idea that, okay. But then when I got into Abeokuta, after secondary school, by the way, after writing my first WAEC, my result was withheld. So my parents asked me to go to Abeokuta, to the Continuing Education Center at Abeokuta, then owned by the popular twins, the Oyewole twins in Abeokuta. So when I got to Abeokuta, I was just at home because we go to school in the evening. In the mornings, we were just lounging at home. I was at home trying to get myself prepared for the lecture in the evening. And so I've always loved listening to radio, you know, right from childhood. I listened to radio. I love people in the radio. I was fascinated because I'd seen what was happening behind the scene. And so that had always been in me. And so listening to the radio this morning again, I love a lot of people on radio at that time. And so when I heard that they were auditioning for presenters, announcers, and DJs, and they wanted people on radio, so it just occurred to me that let me find this opportunity or seize this opportunity to go to the radio station and actually see what was happening there. So I got there, I met a lot of people, quite a number of people. And one thing that I did that was quite funny was that, because at that time, like I said, I didn't have a school start, I didn't have any result. And it was not, I never thought that they would even employ me because I did not have a certificate.
Right.
So I just went in there, and then we were told to write our names. You know, quite a large number of people, I think in the hundreds, a lot of people came to the radio station, that's Ogun Radio at that time. And so I left. One thing I did that was funny was that I was not serious about it. I just wrote my name under every column. As a reporter, I wrote my name there. As a newscaster, I wrote my name up to the point of a DJ.
All right.
So
and
I
that
just
began your journey
into broadcasting. Yes.
All right. You were telling us about the beginning, how your journey began into the broadcast industry. So how has it been so far with your journey? How long is that now?
Well, you can do the calculation. I started in 1979, you know, professionally, you know, as a broadcaster. So if you look at 79 up to date, I think I've put in over 30 years. Let me just put it that way.
That's it. So a book is necessary at this point. Now, another interesting aspect that I found was raising your family, how you and your wife met. Very, very interesting. Meeting at the LTV ground, so to speak, at the fun fair at the time.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll say, well, that was also not planned the way I'll see it. I met my wife, like in the book, you see, while I was at LTV. And then we actually met at the trade fair ground. There was this Father Christmas trade fair that LTV pioneered, I think, in those days. And then it was around 1985, if I could recall. This was in 1985. She came to be one of the ladies at the fairground, you know, those people that you find at different stands and attending to people. So she came with a friend. Actually, we started as a friend, you know, it wasn't something, it started just like, okay, we admired each other. As a matter of fact, the fact is actually that I was gunning for a friend, you know, who they were both, that's the truth, who eventually became the chief's bridesmaid. You know, so it's a long story, but that was just how I met, and it's been the grace of God that's
absolutely
keeping the marriage.
So, which is your most priceless of this moment?
Well, it's a lot of the memories there. If you read the book, I will encourage people to buy and read the book, and you know, go online. You see, there are certain things that happen to you in life that you will find out that if you know, you can't forget them. And one of such was what happened to my little sister, my sister Safia Takilolu, that's Bolanle. Now, she was born about 2 years after I was born, and we were in the village called Alagbon, you know, in Ogun State. Alagbon is on the way to Idiroko, you know, by the way, for those who know Ogun State. And she went with us to the stream. There was a stream, and then she crawled into the river, and the river took her away for, you know, for a long while. People were searching for her all over. And then, you know, by coincidence, by God's grace, she was recovered. I never knew. So that memory, you know, it's there. It's there in the book. And how I also got into broadcasting was such an interesting read too, because it wasn't like I really planned it. I just found myself doing things, and that's just it.
And you've put in over 30 years into the industry as we speak. Anyway, we have to leave the conversation here. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
And like you have said, pick it up and you would learn a thing or two from this book. Thank you so much, Lukman Musa, for your time on the program.